Hi everybody, Steven here. So today I just kind of want to talk about making a portfolio. 'Cause, this year I'm doing my thesis and I was thinking to kind of get a job, and so I kind of already selected some of the work that I want to put in my portfolio. It's a mix of what I did in third and fourth year. So I'm just gonna go over different projects that I've done and maybe just give some comments and things that I'll have to redo or things I have to include in making my portfolio. So for my portfolio, I picked like 4 projects that I've done. The one that I think I've done the best. So this one was during my fourth year. I had to design like a housing project. So we had a site that was 6 by 30 meters, and we could go up to 3 to 4 stories. So that's what I came up with. Um, Not really going to talk about the design itself, but maybe about the presentation and things that I could have made it better, and the things that I think actually doesn't work as well. Um, so for this presentation, I went with like a isometric 3D sections for my first pages, and had some different views. So this is from the inside here, the rooftops, and view from the streets. Um, I think this one it's good. Give you a sense of the relationship between each stories and sense of scales with the furniture. I do feel the people that I put in, well, obviously they're from ArchiCAD, but then I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. I mean, it does give you the idea of scale, but I think pasting some people with Photoshop would have been better. Uh, the outlines, maybe of the plants and the furniture is a bit too thick, so it kind of take away from the overall shape of design of the house. So maybe I'll have to redo that and remove the people and add some Photoshop people inside instead, and maybe render another layer of just the furniture so I can lower down the opacity so the structure will stand out a bit more. As for the views at the bottom, they kind of plain. I think there's kind of like a depth on this one. I think you should add more textures, maybe onto the walls, or maybe put more greenery. Feel like the space is being occupied. Similar to here, maybe I added some clouds or something. And for the street view, I should have added some type of massing so that you can see the building in context. But for the portfolio, I might put this one here and add some more informations. On the second page, I had the floor plans, which I think looks good. I might have to lower the opacity of the furniture again, just so that the spaces pops up a bit more. So as you can see, there's a garage, and there's like the pool area, and that's where the living kitchens. So just to make the different spaces stand out. Those were the sections on this one. I just wanted to show where the 1 bedroom and the 4 bedroom units are. So it's color coded and how the lights enter the space. And so I'm not too sure. I might just put one of them, but I mean it's pretty similar to this, so I might just keep this floor plans. And then on this page I had some elevations, some more 3D and isometric. I think those two are kind of okay. This one not so much, it's a bit dead. this axonometric is pretty good, I feel. So I might just re-render this one. So for this project, I'll keep this, floor plans, these sections, and maybe include 2 renders. And this is the model that I have to make, and as you can see, those are the projects from other people. It looks really good with having all of them lined up. So that's also something that we'll include in my portfolio, showing that it was about design, doing presentation, and also model. Okay, so that was for the first project. The second one, that was the high-rise that I did in my final project for 3rd year. So we're given a site and just have to develop a high-rise, which at the bottom have some commercial and above some residential space. And on here, on my site plan, just wanted to show a bit of the context, how it connects with the streets. Added a diagram to show how I came up with the idea. Had a render here just to show the overall form. Here there was a floor plans and a section showing the different spaces. I had a black and white render because I didn't have time to color it. I spent too much time on making my floor plans. As you can see, I was really interested in getting that geometry. Now that I think about it, this balcony, it's a bit strange. I should have just made it straight. But I guess I wanted to get an interesting facade, but in the end, I don't think that's something that'd be easy to build. But yeah, I'm feeling I've been good if I could have done some close-ups, like break some of the floor plans. And what do I have on the other page? Oh, here I had to show a bit of the structure. I think this one was okay. I had fun doing it. I color-coded the different parts, the columns, beams, and section, some 3D details of the surfaces, how they relate to the structure. And I had this plan here, which now that I think about it, doesn't do much. It was to show the structure, like the grid, how it's laid out, but yeah, that's not an interesting drawing. Like on the page, that's not what I would look at first. So I'm gonna take that out. And on here, I had another perspective drawing of the surfaces, showing more of the plant on the top. Then this is supposed to be like the ducting and everything, like a service plan. This one as well, I don't think it's really useful. I think this is the 3D of that, and I think this is more, give more information. And that's just another render, not really appealing. And get a little bit of text. So yeah, so that was for my high-rise. I think I'll have to redo that site context. I'll add the ISO, the diagrams, the floor plans, the sections, and maybe some of those as well, structures and services. Yep, so that was the high-rise. And so that was for my 4th year. We had to do like a base for the America's Cup, which is like a sailing event that is going to be hosted in New Zealand in 2021 or 2020. So we just meant to design a base for 2 boats. That's what I came up with. For the presentation, I had like a hero shot, some diagrams again, floor plans, location plan, and then I have sections to talk about the facades and details. On this one I can see I've added like Photoshop people and shadows, which is I think works much better, and I really like the mix of the kind of realistics and the drawing, um, and the contrast of color. This one works really well. And structural diagrams sections. Uh, I think these panels were good. Uh, so yeah, I think most of the drawing is gonna be going to the portfolio. And for my final project, we had to pick a neighborhood and study character, and then propose something like a new building. But in my case, I went to more like a master planning side. So this is in Pont Chevalier, which is just next to my uni, and my idea was to just build on top of the motorway as a way to reclaim the land. And I've also added like some new buildings here on the corner. So I had a location site plan, 3D ISO, so you can see here the programming, residential, commercials, and in the center I had like a train stations. I got some figure ground to show the difference of density section, just to show how my proposal is relating to the motorway, and some elevation to just kind of show the aesthetics and how my new proposal, like those ones here, fit with the existing context. And then there's, oops, I forgot to show you, there's some of the 3D stuff. So that was my my base, and that's what it looks like. So I'll just have to reuse the models and maybe take some more views. Close that off. I think that, this one was my high-rise. As you can see here, those were the commercial spaces, and then like, I had like a podium, and then the residential area at the top. Don't save. Oops. This was my housing project. I really had fun building this, and I think I'll make a tutorial about how I went about doing this. And as you can see, you can limit here, so you can see only one space, and show element of storage. Cool. Okay, what else do I want to include? So those are the projects that I've done at school, and there's other stuff that I've done for myself. Like for this one, at one point I was really interested in studying precedent. So this is the Villa Maria by Alva Aalto. So I've took some plan from internet, and then just redid the house on SketchUp. It was a good way to learn about the design and research the concept behind it. And then at the end, I really had a nice model. So, do we have any ground floor? Yeah, so I think that's something that also can include in my portfolio, so I can show that I have knowledge about the architecture history. And yeah, what else do I have? Oh, this. So this is the city of Auckland. It's when I was trying to learn about SketchUp and how I can use to quickly model a site context. I think this whole model took me maybe 45 minutes to do. Um, it was about like importing the AutoCAD data, bringing to SketchUp, and using some plugins to quickly mass uh, the buildings, and then having another plugin to randomly extrude them to a certain height. And then I did some photoshops to bring in the colors um, and yeah. So yeah, something that I'll include also in the portfolio. Also in SketchUp are those things. So I did work for a few years before I went back to uni. I was doing some drafting, and at the time when I got my first jobs, I was studying. I had a degree in at media design, which is like a 3D school teaching how to do games. So I learned about 3D modeling, but I was using other software. But at the time, I couldn't find a job in Auckland. I had to move down to Wellington if I wanted to work in that industry. So I went on Trade Me, and look for a job, and there was like 3D for houses, and that's actually how I got into architecture. But when I started, I had no clue about how to put a house together. There was a lot of standards uh, that I need to follow, but everything was in 2D, just lines and fills. At the beginning, it was really hard for me to understand what what the different components in the details, and also why they were done this way. Because I was just copying and pasting what I saw, and uh, but then I realized that I could do that, like just model those 2D details into 3D, so it helped me understand a bit better, so that if I have to design something else, just make it easy for me. So I started to do this. I think I've done another one here, and at that time I think my boss were pretty impressed because we did that for submission to the council, and by showing the step-by-steps was good for me because I learned how things are being built, but also for the people at the council, it was easy to check that the design that we propose actually is going to work. Um, did I do? So I guess that was for the detailing. What else did I? Here's another one. I really like this one because I added the profile of the windows and just make it more realistic, and in your hair it's easier to visualize it. Oh, those were buildings that I made for the big city that I showed earlier. So this is down the viaduct. I just wanted to have like the isometric diagram look. And, oh, this is another apartment building where I used to live in town. This was, I think, I'd done in ArchiCAD first. So this is the ArchiCAD model, and then I just brought it into SketchUp. Because SketchUp, it's easier to get the sketchy type of line renders, and it's much faster. It's just like saving to a PNG or JPEG. What else? What else? Also, what's this? Oh, that's a house, like a villa, heritage house that I did in ArchiCAD. At that time, I wanted to learn how to use the complex profile to come up with stuff like this. Does the ornamentation and the baluster as well. Oh, I also did like Villa Savoie. Yeah, like at the time when I was doing president, because I had a little project where I wanted to take all the architecture that I've seen at uni, like with the one that we study, and just take those floor plans and model in 3D, and then make some laser cutting files so I can make a model of them after. So this one's Villa Savoie. I think I've done another one. Oh, that was the Constable, the one by Graham Colehouse. Where's the render? Oh yeah. So that was the render that I came up with at the end. Really sketchy. The model was first done in ArchiCAD, so kind of look like this, and I brought into SketchUp, get the lines, and went to Photoshop to add some colors. And I don't think I have a photo of the models because we had to do models as well. Those were some drawing that I used to do, like study of Italian architectures. Oh yeah, I was thinking to put that as well. And during my second year, we had to do a group project, and that needed to be built for like a night event. It was about light. In this case, we built some infinity mirrors, so it gives the illusion of depth. What I wanted to do is to create like a thin mirror that could see both ways, and so I was the project manager on this project. And we had to do like get some fundings, designs, source the materials, doing the installations. I think I had a book for that. Oh yeah. So those were the panels during the installation. That's kind of the effect that it looked like. And those were the initial design that we came up with, because there was only maybe 7 to 8 teams that were going to be selected, teams of like 4, and we got selected. That was the presentation. So this team here in yellow also had similarities, so we were grouped together, and some photo of us building it. This is just a mock-up. Actually, this is just me photoshopping. People thought that it was the real thing, but it was just to give an idea of what it might look like. And this is some developed design, some idea about how it was going to be laid out, like kind of get experience to give, and how we're going to get it built. It's photo of us in the workshop, and step by steps. It was a really fun project. That's when we're testing how we were going to fix it to the ground, because I really wanted something that's easy to set up and that has like a really minimalistic design, so you wouldn't know how it stands. So we had some warata. I think those were used to make fences. But on that particular day, like the structure didn't really hold that well, because it was all about like checking how deep that I need to put the warata, and actually he had to go really deep, and we had to add some reinforcing bar as well just to make it stronger. Us at the workshop, here we had to do some paintings, and on this one we had to apply the mirror film onto those polycarbonate panels, and this is a rough try how it looked like. And I think we had to kind of simplify the way we're gonna put the LEDs inside. So those were some of the design, and this was the new layout. We had to change it because of the way we connected to the electricity. Oh yeah, we just started to learn how to solder the LED strips together. Um, so that was the day of the installation. Yep. Yeah, it took us quite a while. Like we arrived on site quite late. I think most teams were there like 12, and then we arrived at 3, and the show was at like 6. And yeah, all our tutor was a bit worried that we were not going to make it on time, but we made it, and we were putting all the electricals together, as you can see. Um, we made it. So this is the end product. And yeah, I think this project was pretty successful. You can see that create that sense of depth, and I mean, Infinity Mirror is not something new. Other people have done it, but I think what we added to this is that is actually you can see from both sides, and I think that's what people were really impressed. Like they could really see the depth, but then they see the how thin the mirror was and how it was standing, and by having people on both sides and not seeing the other person, it made the illusion even better. Let's go to this one. Some of the effects, and that's when it's time to pack up. Cool. So this one's gonna be in it. And what else? Dun-dun-dun. Oh, there's another portfolio that I've done before. There was another house that I modeled. It was quite a big house. That was for renovation jobs. But I'm not gonna put that in. That was a house that I did back in the day. Just to show floor plans. But it looks too computer. I think it lacked textures, and so that's something that I have to redo, or why not even include that? Huh. There was another house that while I was doing the Villa Savoie, I looked from a different style and learn how to shape those type of roof. Really interesting. Um, I think that's it. Oh wait. Oh, those were some sketches that I'd done when I went to Shanghai. I think like 2 3 years ago. So we had to study the city and the buildings. So those are a few sketches. Um, what's in here? Oh, that's the same thing. Uh, Another house that I'm modeling ArchiCAD. Some interior shots of an apartment. Yeah. I think on this one I was playing with the light. It kind of looked a bit more realistic, but I think I needed to add some more object on the scene, so like maybe some greenery, plates, foods. It looks too clean as well. Those were the 3D isonometric that I did for a job. Some more 3D. But yeah, so those are some of the work that I will be including in my portfolio. I think it's important to just pick the one that you think is your best work and kind of show off the different range of project that you can do. Like I've picked one about housing, high-rise, more like a public commercial type of one, and one more master planning, and then some stuff like the Villa Marian, the Villa Savoie, just to show that you have interest about architecture history. And I also have some 3D details, just to show that I have knowledge in constructions and how I can communicate them effectively. Um, and then the Infinity, like the mirror project, was more about um, talking about me and how I work in group for like a real project, and um, let them know that I got some management skills, and some few drawings, but I don't know if I'm gonna include those ones. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the work that I've done, and in the next video I might just show you how I can take those images that I made before and maybe tweak them and use InDesign to do another portfolio. Okay, thank you.